In the small village of Hollowbrook, nestled deep within the woods, stood an old mansion with a dark and twisted history. Hollowbrook Manor. Legend had it that the mansion was cursed, and for decades, the villagers had avoided it like the plague. Tales of strange noises, ghostly apparitions, and inexplicable phenomena had spread like wildfire, instilling fear in the hearts of those who dared venture near. One fateful night, driven by morbid curiosity and a longing for adventure, a young YouTuber decided to explore the infamous Hollowbrook Manor. Armed with a camera and a brave facade, they set out on a journey that would change their life forever. As they approached the decaying mansion, a chill ran down their spine, but they brushed it off as mere nerves. They stepped over the crumbling threshold, and the heavy door creaked ominously behind them. The air inside was thick and suffocating, carrying the weight of centuries-old secrets. Their camera's flashlight pierced through the darkness as they tiptoed through the grand foyer, revealing faded portraits of the mansion's former inhabitants. Each painting seemed to watch them with haunting eyes, causing a shiver to course through their body. But they pressed on, determined to capture the truth behind the chilling tales. Whispers echoed in the empty halls, and the sound of distant footsteps seemed to follow them wherever they went. Doors creaked open and shut, revealing nothing but darkness beyond. Shadows danced on the walls, their movements resembling eerie specters. In the heart of the mansion, they stumbled upon a locked room. Unable to resist the urge to uncover its secrets, they managed to pick the rusted lock and stepped inside. What they found sent chills down their spine, a room covered in occult symbols and unsettling artifacts. The air grew heavier, and a feeling of malevolence engulfed them. As they recorded every detail, a sense of dread washed over them, and they began to question their decision to enter the cursed manor. But before they could escape, an unseen force slammed the door shut, trapping them inside. Panic set in as they realized that they were not alone. Whispers grew louder, filling their ears with incomprehensible words. Ghostly figures appeared and disappeared, their ethereal forms haunting the young YouTuber. The camera captured fleeting glimpses of spectral hands and faces, but the entities remained elusive, never fully materializing. In a desperate attempt to break free, they followed a trail of flickering lights deeper into the mansion's labyrinthine corridors. The spirits seemed to lead them somewhere, perhaps seeking a way to communicate with the living. Finally, they reached the mansion's crumbling attic, where an old diary lay hidden amidst a pile of dusty books. Its pages revealed a tragic tale of dark rituals and vengeful spirits, explaining the malevolent presence that had held the mansion in its grip for so long. As the night wore on, the haunting intensified. Tormented cries and mournful wails echoed through the mansion's desolate rooms, filling the young YouTuber with terror. They knew that their very presence had disturbed the spirits, and they desperately sought a way to appease them. With trembling hands, they attempted to perform a ritual of cleansing, hoping to release the trapped souls. But the entities resisted, unleashing their fury upon the intruder. Books flew off the shelves, furniture levitated, and the camera captured the terrifying spectacle as the mansion itself seemed to come alive. In the midst of the chaos, they managed to find an old pendant, one that was said to hold the key to breaking the curse. With a glimmer of hope, they recited the words inscribed on the pendant, hoping for salvation. A blinding light enveloped the attic, and the spirit's cries reached a crescendo before abruptly falling silent. The darkness lifted, and the malevolent energy that had plagued the mansion was gone. The young YouTuber had succeeded in releasing the souls that had been trapped for so long. Relieved but exhausted, they made their way out of the now tranquil Hollowbrook Manor. The sun was rising on the horizon, and they knew they had witnessed something extraordinary, something they could never forget. As they uploaded their footage to their YouTube channel, they knew that this tale would be etched in the annals of paranormal history. And so, They shared the haunting of Hollowbrook Manor with the world, a chilling reminder that some mysteries should remain unsolved, and some places were best left to the darkness. It was a chilly autumn day when my husband, John, and I moved into the charming old house nestled within a dense forest. From the moment I stepped inside, an inexplicable sense of unease washed over me, but the allure of the quaint property convinced me to overlook my apprehensions. The first few weeks passed relatively peacefully, but it wasn't long before we noticed strange occurrences. Footsteps echoed through the hallways at odd hours. Objects moved on their own, and a bone-chilling coldness lingered in certain rooms. The worst, however, were the whispers that came alive in the dead of night. Faint, incomprehensible voices seemed to float in the air, leaving us with a sense of dread that pierced our hearts. As the days turned to weeks, the hauntings grew bolder. Shadows danced across the walls, taking grotesque forms, and figures moved just at the edge of my vision. I would wake up to the feeling of someone breathing down my neck, yet there was no one there. The disturbances escalated, and we sought help from paranormal investigators, but their equipment malfunctioned or failed to capture evidence of the apparitions. Determined to understand the source of the haunting, we delved into the house's history. It turned out that our seemingly idyllic home was once a site of tragedy and suffering. A century ago, a family had lived here, and their tale was nothing short of a nightmare. A gruesome murder-suicide had stained the walls with blood and left the souls of the victims trapped within the confines of the house. Desperate to find a way to free the tormented spirits, we sought the guidance of a reputed medium who agreed to conduct a séance. Little did we know that this attempt to make peace with the ethereal inhabitants would only stoke the fury of the restless souls, leading to a night of terror we would never forget. During the séance, a malevolent entity emerged, overpowering the medium and lashing out with intense fury. The air grew frigid, and the walls seemed to close in around us. It was as if the dark presence sought to claim our very souls, driving us to the brink of madness. We knew then that we were dealing with something beyond our comprehension. The haunting intensified, affecting not just us, but also our pets. Our dog would growl at invisible entities, and our once cheerful cat would hiss and arch its back at unseen adversaries. We were living in a nightmare we couldn't escape. One fateful night, as we braced ourselves for another onslaught of paranormal activity, we stumbled upon an old journal hidden away in the attic. It belonged to one of the victims of the long-past tragedy that had befallen the house. Through its chilling entries, we learned about the malevolent entity that had been conjured by dark rituals in the distant past. Armed with newfound knowledge, we sought the help of a seasoned exorcist. He performed a harrowing ritual to cleanse the house and free the trapped spirits. For days, the battle between the exorcist's power and the malevolent entity raged on, filling the house with unbridled chaos. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the exorcist succeeded in banishing the malevolent presence. The air lightened, and the oppressive aura that had plagued us for so long dissipated. The house was finally at peace. Yet, the horrors we experienced left deep scars on our souls. We decided to leave the house behind, seeking solace in a new beginning. The echoes of the haunted past still haunt our memories, a reminder that there are forces beyond our understanding, lurking in the shadows, and that some mysteries are better left untouched. The whispering shadows became a part of us, a haunting tale we would share with only the bravest of souls. In the heart of the forest, where the tall trees blocked out the sun's rays, stood an abandoned mansion that had earned the name Ravenwood Manor. Its ominous appearance and tragic history had left it deserted for decades, as rumors of restless spirits and malevolent shadows plagued the surrounding villages. Legend told of a curse that had befallen the Ravenscroft family, the former owners of the manor. During the 19th century, it was said that Lady Genevieve Ravenscroft, consumed by greed and dark desires, had made a pact with a malevolent entity in exchange for wealth and power. But the price she paid was steep her soul, and the souls of her descendants were forever bound to Ravenwood Manor. As the years passed, the tales surrounding Ravenwood Manor grew more terrifying. Few dared to venture near, and those who did returned with harrowing stories of whispering shadows and vengeful apparitions. However, one group of thrill-seekers decided to challenge the curse and unravel the truth behind the haunted mansion. Among the brave souls was Sarah, a young and determined paranormal investigator, whose fascination with the supernatural had led her to Ravenwood Manor. Accompanied by her skeptical best friend, Alex, and her tech-savvy brother, Ethan, they arrived at the mansion on a moonless night, the air thick with foreboding. As they approached the creaking iron gate, Sarah's heart pounded with a mix of excitement and fear. Ignoring the warnings of locals, she pressed on, determined to capture evidence of the paranormal for her online audience. The rusty gate groaned as they pushed it open, and they stepped into the shadowy grounds of Ravenwood Manor. The mansion loomed before them like a haunting specter, its windows boarded up, and its walls covered in ivy. The wind carried ghostly whispers that sent chills down their spines. Alex tried to brush off the eerie feeling, but even he couldn't deny the palpable sense of malevolence that enveloped them. With cameras and recording devices in hand, they entered the mansion. The interior was even more decrepit than they imagined, with faded wallpaper peeling off the walls and dust-laden furniture frozen in time. The air was heavy with the scent of decay and long-forgotten memories. As they explored each room, strange phenomena began to unfold. Disembodied whispers echoed through the halls, and chilling laughter filled the stagnant air. The temperature dropped dramatically, and Sarah's breath turned to mist as she exhaled. In one room, they discovered an old family portrait, and Sarah felt an inexplicable connection to the somber faces depicted. The eyes of the figures seemed to follow her, and she sensed a lingering sorrow that sent tears to her eyes. The group decided to conduct a séance, hoping to communicate with the restless spirits. Gathering in a circle, they held hands, their hearts racing in anticipation. Sarah called out to the spirits, inviting them to make their presence known. Suddenly, the candles flickered erratically, and the room plunged into darkness. Sarah felt an icy hand clasp her shoulder, sending a jolt of terror through her. A ghostly figure materialized in front of them, and her heart leaped to her throat. With trembling voices, they asked questions, and the spirit responded with eerie knocks and whispers. It revealed its name as Lady Genevieve, the cursed matriarch of the Ravenscroft family. She spoke of her remorse and endless torment, trapped within the mansion's walls. As the séance ended, the spirit's presence lingered, and the group could feel an overwhelming sadness in the air. Determined to help the tormented souls find peace, Sarah vowed to break the curse that bound them. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah tirelessly researched the history of the Ravenscroft family, piecing together forgotten records and diaries. She discovered a hidden chamber beneath the mansion, rumored to hold the key to breaking the curse. With the newfound knowledge, Sarah and her companions returned to Ravenwood Manor. The atmosphere was tense as they navigated the crumbling mansion, the spirits seemingly agitated by their presence. Finally, they found the entrance to the hidden chamber. Ancient symbols adorned the door, and Sarah recited a ritual incantation she had unearthed. The door creaked open, revealing a room filled with ethereal light and a sense of serenity. A spectral figure, bathed in an otherworldly glow, appeared before them. It was Lady Genevieve herself, freed from her eternal suffering. She thanked Sarah for her compassion and dedication, and as a token of her gratitude, she bestowed a golden pendant upon her. The pendant emitted a warm glow, and Sarah could feel the darkness around her lift. The curse that had gripped Ravenwood Manor for generations was finally broken. As the spirits of the Ravenscroft family found peace, the mansion itself seemed to come alive with joy. In the end, Sarah and her friends left the manor, forever changed by their experience. The haunted Ravenwood Manor was no longer a place of sorrow and despair, but a testament to the power of compassion and the triumph of the human spirit over darkness. From that day forward, Ravenwood Manor was no longer feared but became a place of wonder and intrigue, as people from all over came to witness the transformation and hear the tale of the Whispering Shadows, a haunting story that would echo through the ages.